Come on, man. Okay, hello, and good afternoon, everybody. Okay, just two. Right, we're on. I think we're on. Right, hello, good afternoon, everybody. Today is Friday, the 5th of May, which means it's the start of the bank holiday weekend because of the King's coronation this weekend. But further to that, of course, it's my birthday on the 10th of May. So I have the entire week off work next week. I've got a busy week ahead. Going to Whitby, going to Amsterdam, you know. So lots to look forward to. But I did say in the last stream that I did that I'm going to struggle to get some videos and streams up. And I didn't anticipate getting anything up probably until Tuesday. Monday, Tuesday-ish. But I go out on a Friday evening to a friend's house. I've been doing it since May, regularly. Friday, Saturday nights. Rum flows, music plays, fun is had. But she's a bit busy this evening until 7 p.m. So I finish work at 3:30 as usual, and I think to myself, what am I going to do between 3:30 and 7? I know what I'll do. I'll do a private stream of this and give you something to watch. It's a Grand Prix weekend in real life. It's the Miami Grand Prix in real life. So hopefully you can watch this in between or at your leisure and enjoy. And I'll try and get a CK2 recorded session up over the weekend. I should have a little bit of time available on Sunday to do some recording in the morning. So hopefully you'll get to see a recorded CK2 session on Sunday. I'm a bit busy tomorrow because I'm off to do my Amsterdam shopping, getting the last few bits in the clothing department. It's always nice to get a few new threads for holiday, isn't it? And then I can use them for my cruise in June next month as well, you see, kind of dual purpose. So that's to look forward. So I said that's not to look forward to. A, because I'm going to have to spend some money, and B, because it's I hate shopping, but it's a necessary evil. So anyway, that's as it is. So that's the kind of short-term plan. And then obviously as we get into next week, no videos at all because I'm going to be not here. So yeah, there could actually be a stream on Tuesday night. Not promising anything, but Tuesday is the only day next week that I'm not doing anything. So, unless football starts up again, which it's due to start up very shortly on a Tuesday again, if it's not starting yet, then I'll stream Tuesday night. If it does start, I'm afraid, might not be have time. But stay tuned for that, and if we do some streaming on Tuesday, it will be CK2. But anyway, let's get on with this show, shall we? It might be a shorter show, because the Monaco short show, not the show. Could be a bit of both. Monaco, it could be short, because Monaco, not much action in Monaco. Processional, cars can't overtake. It's difficult it's nigh impossible to overtake, in fact. So there's no variable weather to spice it up. So I'm anticipating this race being quite dull. I could actually have just done this off camera and skipped it, but you never know. If I did that, it'll be a race full of drama. So we'll go with the roughs, the ebbs and the flows of the ups and the downs of the different races on the calendar. It's only fair that we give you all angles here, not just the best bits of F1, but some of the boring bits too. But we'll see what happens. So it's I've done everything that I need to do. So let's have a quick look at the qualifying results, shall we? Second front row lockout in a row. This should not be a surprise though, because this track is clearly all about downforce, and that's where our car is best. Straight line speed, not a prayer, but downforce, we are the best in top speed, in low speed, high speed, medium speed, cornering, and dirty air cornering as well. So we should expect to be at the top of the grid when it comes to this particular race. Similarly in races like Hungary as well. So this isn't a surprise. What is actually quite a surprise is, given how good we are at cornering, we didn't qualify a massive amount ahead of the field. I mean, Lando was only 300ths faster than Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari, for example. So it's not as if we blasted the field to bits in our highly grippy, good cornering car, which I was a little bit shocked about. I thought we were going to cruise it. But anyway, we did lock out the front row. Hamilton is on pole. Norris is in second, a full 10th behind. And then you've got, the rest of the cars pretty close there. It's the same situation. The big three teams battling it out, duking it out, and it will be the case. But the start here is absolutely pivotal, because overtaking is not impossible. So if we get off to a bad start with either of these guys, it could prove to be catastrophic. So the strategy is the fastest strategy. I've already done it. I've already looked at it. Is the medium onto hard strategy, which apparently is faster than that and faster than that. So we're going to go with that. Clearly gives us a bit extra tyre wear, a lot of longevity on the tyres. Same for Lando. If anybody's using a soft tyre to start with, they might get a quicker launch off the line, which in Monaco is probably worth the extra 4 seconds, to be honest with you, to just get track position. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't know how much an impact the softer tyre has in the game, but in real life it would be quite an impact. But wrong way. Let's not do that. Let's do that, thank you. Don't want the cars just ambling off the line now, do we? No, thanks. We want them shooting off the line like a damn rocket ship. There we go. So, driver options done. Tyre strategy is done. Qualified on the front row with both our cars. So, without further ado, let's see what thrills and spills. Yeah, right. The Monaco GP presents to us today. Happy with the position of this microphone.
I don't want to tempt fate, but there are quite a few clouds overhead as we look at the lineup on the grid.
Lights on, come on, come on.
Streets are abuzz.
The lights are on. And the lights are out. We're off and racing.
And away we go.
Away we go, off camera with both our cars and start. Carlos Sainz has got ahead of Lando Norris onto the first corner. Lando needs to power up the hill here. He cannot afford to lose track position to the Ferrari, and indeed he doesn't.
Okay, Lando, nice job.
Okay, sorry, I might be shouting a bit. I just have to turn my headset volume down because it was blasting in my ears. That was a vital manoeuvre. Vital. He had to get back up past Sainz there. If he'd have lost track position, it could have been detrimental for the long-term prospects of the race. There we go, boys and girls. So it is Hamilton, Norris, Sainz, Verstappen. Leclerc is in 5th position. We've got the lead Mercedes of Russell in 6th. We've got Perez down in P7. Daniel down in P13. It's all kicking off down there. But up front, we have got the 2 McLarens already out of the DRS zone of the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz. It's still loud in my ears. Bloody hell. I might be shouting. Am I shouting? I might be shouting. Right, we're going to turn it down now. We've got a bit of tyre wear problems here. Well, not problems, but we haven't got like the biggest tyre offset. Okay.
Just be careful with this tyre.
So both our cars now have P1, P2. We have gapped almost 2 seconds to Carlos Sainz. We've got battles going on here. We've got Perez hounding George Russell. I should know all the corner names here in Monaco, given that I've been to Monaco in real life 3 times, and I'm an F1 fan. I just always forget them. Mirabeau, is that Monaco? The Lowe's hairpin there. Massenet? Yeah, I don't know. It's been a while since I've had to remember corner names. Right, anyway. Who cares about corner names? We just care about our cars. And that 2-second gap is coming down now that we are not pushing. As we ride on board with the fastest car on the grid, which we can say with confidence because it is the fastest car on the grid. Overall is the Ferrari. I mean, look, we've looked at the stats last session. They are the fastest car on the grid. He's not doing a too bad a job, because he is 1.7 seconds ahead of Carlos, of Max Verstappen. Leclerc is obviously the quicker of the two, but he's going to now struggle to get past Verstappen, because it's the way it works around here. Russell further back there. So DRS in Monaco, as you would imagine, given that there's only one DRS zone on the straight, which isn't very long, is not a DRS-friendly track. It's not a friendly track for a lot of things, Monaco, other than rich people, you know, bit of histrionics, bit of, what's the word I'm looking for, sort of, nostalgia, a bit of nostalgia. The likes of Senna driving around with one hand, stick shifting, you know, 88, 89 qualifying laps from the gods. Was it his 88 qualifying? I think it was 88. His qualifying lap from the gods, essentially, where he qualified like over a second faster than anybody else, including his own teammate. It was an insane lap, which was not captured on camera, by the way. There is one qualifying lap on YouTube of Senna qualifying in Monaco, and I think it was from 89, 90 maybe, which is damn good anyway, watching it. You just Google it and watch the drivers now with their little fancy gadgets on their steering wheels, cruising round, driving round. And he is catching, isn't he? He's getting to the... He is catching. But he's on soft tyres, I've just noticed. So he will be quicker, because he's on soft tyres. But he won't pass. And his soft tyres will begin to go off quicker than the mediums as well, so it's not a problem. Not a problem at all. I'm not worried about this. He won't be passing us. I'm not worried. But anyway, so you watch the cars in real life even, that drive around now, and don't get me wrong, it's still quite an intense and quite a hard work is driving one of these things with all the G-force from the braking, the accelerating, the turning. It's hard work, you know. Drivers that have been pedal to the metal and not conserving for large parts of the race and have been driving flat out lap after lap for most of the race get out the car and they're knackered. It's hard work. But you compare how they drive to this lap in the 80s, or even just driving on board with cars from the 80s, where they had especially when they had the stick shift. It's insane the amount of skill involved to drive a car in the 80s that were literally death traps. You know, all this safety, halos and tyres that have got tethers on so they don't fly off, and you know, the fact that the back of the thing has to be at a certain height so that if the car rolls you're not going to crush your head, and all the rest of the fancy safety features that have developed over time and as a result of accidents and unfortunate deaths. The cars back in the 80s, they weren't exactly that great, you know, for safety. You're driving around with one hand on the steering wheel, one hand on the stick shift, doing 180. Oh, good lord. Different times. And I've already mentioned in the past about the fact that there's as late as 1993, cars could blast down the pit lane full speed. 100 odd mile an hour down the pit lane. Phew. In fact, I think I read somewhere that in 1993, the Donington GP, which was, I think, badged as the European GP at the time, that was the race where Senna started, I think, in 5th on the grid, in a car that was clearly not the quickest car on the grid anymore, the McLaren Peugeot or McLaren Ford, whatever it was at the time. And because it was wet, and he was the rain master, he was the true rain master, scythed through the field in one lap. He went from 5th to 1st in one lap. That's also another good watch if you can find it on YouTube, which you should have no trouble doing. Fantastic piece of driving. But that was the race. I think I read also that he actually got the fastest lap of the race, and in the fastest lap he went through the pit lane to get it. He went through the pit lane at full speed and got the fastest lap of the race. It's very strange. Almost as strange as Michael Schumacher winning the British Grand Prix in 19 99? No, because 99 was the British Grand Prix where he crashed out and broke his leg. So maybe the Grand Prix of 98 or even the Grand Prix of 2000, the British Grand Prix. One of those 2 years, I believe, where he actually won the race in the pit lane. Can't remember the exact circumstances, but something along the lines of he had to serve a penalty or something. So he served it on the last lap and ended up in the pit lane and finished the race in first position in the pit lane. I'm sure you can tell me in the comments when you find it on YouTube that particular incident. But yeah. So as you can clearly see, I'm just nattering away because there's not much happening in this race. There's no overtaking, and that's why I'm quite comfortable with the fact that we are in first, we are in second. Although Verstappen and Leclerc still pretty close, but given that the Ferrari is clearly the faster car, is unable to make any kind of passing manoeuvre right now. Russell is slipping further behind. Perez can't get past the slower Russell. It's the story of this race, isn't it? Story of this race. We've got to be careful of this though, because this is also quite a long race. It's 78 laps, the most laps of any race on the calendar. So at some point we will speed this up. But I've got time to kill until 7:30. I'm not going anywhere. Maybe I could fit 2 races in. If I sped this up, maybe I could get another race in. Double race session. 2.5 hour stream. Private stream. Who knows? No, probably not. Anyway, while I'm here, I kind of feel like what I should have done is, rather than do this as a private stream, because I've got a little bit of time on my hands, I almost feel like I should have done a last minute impromptu stream, public stream. I can't change it now. I should have just done an impromptu public stream for whoever happened to be free at the time. Probably not many of you, but you never know. 4:30 on a Friday. Maybe I would have got a couple of people. And I could have talked to somebody rather than talking to a camera. But anyway, I can't believe I didn't think of that sooner. I've got like 3 hours to kill, so there's no rush. Got nothing else better to do with my time right now. Let's just bang a stream on and just have a laugh with whoever wants to join. Give you like 15 minutes notice. Never mind. Anyway, the reason why the thought of doing a public stream came to my mind is because I've got a bottle of rum sat on my desk. Whenever I think of alcohol, my mind instantly goes to streaming. I don't know why. But anyway, I'm taking it to my friend's house, you see. And if you remember, in the anniversary party stream, right, I got a box of miniature rums, if you remember. One of those was honey spiced rum, pirate grog, honey spiced rum. Tried it live on the anniversary stream, and it was flipping delicious. Absolutely delightful. So I've ordered some, because it's my birthday week. So I've ordered this. Most of this bottle will be gone by Wednesday, but there'll be some left. And I'm also going to order from a different company, the name escapes me, some sticky toffee rum. But I'm going to have that delivered on my birthday, on Wednesday, and then I'm going to take it to Whitby with me. Have some whilst I'm watching the sea and the waves from the comfort of my sea view hotel bedroom window. But anyway, so I have got on my desk, and I haven't got the preview screen so I can't see what you can see, but hopefully you can see it. Pirate Grog, can you see that? Pirate Grog, honey spiced. Introducing the Tropical Horizons range from Pirate's Grog, a fleet of exotic spiced rums venturing into a new world of flavour exploration. This edition uses the finest ethically sourced pure honey from the Honey Bee Man, technical term, and infuses a wonderful array of spices with our award-winning 5-year aged golden rum. Look at that. Even like the little symbol of of a bee stinging a skull. Although that technically to me looks more like a wasp than a bee. Just say. Why put something that looks like a wasp on my label? Thank you. You know, I've got a phobia of them. But anyway, I just noticed, because you couldn't tell on the miniatures, but this stuff is crafted in Roatan, Honduras. And I've been to Roatan, Honduras twice on a cruise. So if we ever go on a cruise that goes to Honduras, Roatan again, I know what I'm going to be buying, because that stuff is fabulous. But anyway, so there you go. So if you wonder why it's sat on my desk, I just have random bottles of rum sat around me. Hang on, I'll just go to my bookshelf and pull a bottle of rum off. Here's one I prepared earlier. No, it's because the Amazon man came about an hour ago, and I ordered it to arrive today, because today is my drinking day. So I'm going to take it to my friend's house and give her a sample of it, because I said to her, because she's got a very, very, very uncannily similar taste when it comes to rums as me. So if I love a rum and I say, here, try that, she's like, oh, that is nice. I'm yet to come across a rum that I've liked that she hasn't, so I'm confident she's going to love this too. So we shall soon find out. But anyway, what we're going to do now, seeing as I've now nattered on for the best part of 12 laps and not really concentrated on the action, because, hey, what action have we got other than cars going around in a flipping train? We'll speed it up to 2 speed and get close to the time where we're going to be coming into the pits, which is round about lap 30 flipping 3. Okay. I won't go any faster than 2 speed though, because we end up having it in that kind of a view, which serves no purpose to anybody. So no, we'll continue on this kind of view. Carlos Sainz is still keeping up with us. We are pulling away slightly from Verstappen. Verstappen, of course, is on. Well, what is he on? It looks like he's on mediums. He is on mediums. We've got Leclerc on softs, so that's why he's. Well, one of the reasons why he's also quite quick in comparison to Verstappen is he's on the softer tyre too. So both Ferraris going for the soft onto hard option. Now, one thing we've got to be careful of is being undercut, because if we get undercut, game over. As you can see, we ain't passing, and it's a one-stop race. So we've got to be very wary of being undercut. Now, this is where things get rather interesting, because if we were in second place behind a car that's not our own, with Lando Norris, right now it would make the absolute perfect sense to conserve tyres, to conserve fuel, to conserve ERS, because you can't overtake, and will probably still remain within the range of Hamilton to some degree, and that would give us toys to play with down the line, and maybe even prevent a potential undercut by unleashing our power when the time is right. Now, the issue with that is that will be to the detriment of Hamilton, because he can't have the benefits of conserving because he's in the lead, although technically speaking he probably could, because nobody's going to get past. And then we could push. I'm talking it out like it's not a possibility, and I'm thinking to myself, the more I think about it, is it actually a possibility that for the last 10 laps of the stint we actually start to conserve fuel and ERS? So that we can unleash that when Sainz pits, because he's going to pit before us, go onto hard tyres that will be fresher than our mediums and therefore probably faster, and then puts us at risk, that puts us at risk of being undercut potentially. We have to hope that when his tyres go off, that he starts to fall away from us to give us a good 3-second gap to play with. But at the moment, it's not looking like we're pulling away. Let's have a look at the tyre wear situation. So his tyres are wearing quicker than ours are. So he should probably start to fall away from us within the next sort of 5 laps, I would suggest. As soon as he does get out of that DRS range, we should... Because he goes to 8 tenths, but then it will come down because of this very short blast of DRS that he gets. But it's beginning to get towards the second, so it's almost as if that the medium tyre is now the quicker tyre when compared to the soft because of the degradation factor. Because he's beginning to struggle to stay within the second, I think. It is kind of dependent upon where you are in the lap, I suppose, but let's see. We could just start to push something. 7 tenths, 6 tenths, 7 tenths, goes up to about 8 tenths here. No, 6 tenths. Okay, so maybe we're not. Maybe it's just me being rather hopeful. But we've got to seriously consider the strategy here. Okay, so Leclerc was definitely faster, right? Let's just take a check here, right? So Leclerc was definitely faster than Verstappen. And now Verstappen's pulled 3.5 seconds. Leclerc's tyres are actually more worn than Sainz's, so Leclerc's pushed his tyres harder, actually. Hence why he's probably slipped back now. So his soft tyres definitely underperforming when compared to the mediums. But Sainz's are hanging on a bit more than his are. So... yeah, the soft tyres are definitely beginning to fall away here. So we're expecting Sainz to do something similar then in the not too distant future. We need it to happen. But I'm debating whether or not we can afford to conserve fuel with both of our cars.
Increase in lift and coast just a little.
Understood.
To give us an extra bit of boost when it comes to pushing to prevent the undercut. Because he won't, even though we're cruising round, he won't pass us. And then if we also conserve and we use our DRS down this straight. So we'll use the DRS. And then for a couple of laps, let's harvest.
So just charge that pack.
Yep.
I mean, clearly Sainz is now all over the back of us because we're conserving fuel and not using our deployment, which is a bit of a dangerous game to play, but I can't see him passing us. We have to be careful when it comes to the tunnel section with Lando, so neutral. I mean, we've got a decent amount of ERS.
You can turn recharge
there.
off if you want to.
Confirm.
Just got to be careful here, so let's mind the situation. Okay, back to harvest again.
And we can have recharge on, please.
Confirm.
So what this is doing, obviously it's bringing Verstappen back into play slightly because he's now gaining on us on this little train.
So no need to charge the pack.
Right, just got to be very careful with this pitch straight situation. It's fine.
And just charge the pack.
Okay.
Okay, so I think one more lap of conserving the ERS, and then we'll just go back to neutral. We'll keep conserving the fuel. We're not overly fussed about conserving the tyres, to be honest. And then what will happen is when we get to around about lap 36-ish, no, 26-ish. What we'll do is we're going to then push like the clappers, basically. So we're kind of playing a little tactic here in terms of backing. It's not slowing down. We can afford to do this because we're the lead cars. Slow it down, conserve, and then, like a cork in the bottle, when the time is right, we're just going to shoot off and hopefully create about a 3 to 4 second gap with both of our cars, which will hopefully prevent an undercut. So this is all being done with a view preventing an undercut, which could be an issue now because we're about to get overtaken. Oh, God. Power up the hill! Power up the hill! Power up the hill! Power up the hill! There we go. Sorry about that.
And save fuel from now, please. Save fuel from now.
Bit dangerous, wasn't it? Right, back to neutral now. Back to neutral.
Stop the charge.
Verstappen is coming quite quickly, isn't he? He's going to get into the DRS of science and join this party. This could be a mistake. I don't know. I think this is going to work out quite well for us. I think this is going to work out pretty well. Because don't forget, Science's tyres are knackered now. So now that his tyres are knackered, I think actually now would be a good time to create that gap. So now we're going to go push, push,
And think about left lifting coast.
and deploy, and deploy. And let's see if we can create a gap now. We've put Science into the clutches of Verstappen, which means that Science will have to do a little bit of defending. Maybe that'll slow him down as well. Whereas we are going to put our flipping foot down for at least the next 3 or 4 laps, and hopefully start to. Yeah, there we go. You see, start to really pull away. His tyres are knackered. Our tyres are fresher. We've got fuel now to use. We've got ERS to use. Let's use it. Let's pull a 3-second gap out, and let's really create that gap. Prevent that undercut. I think this has worked pretty well. I mean, we're not clearly at the end of this process just yet, but I think this will work like a charm. I think this will work like a charm. Let's see. Hopefully it'll work like a charm. Quite tempted to open this now, but I've got no Coke. Got no Coke. Just a nice little sip of that to start my holiday off. I'm not back at work now until the 15th. 10 days of bliss. And I went shopping earlier to get some self-raising flour because my mum's made a ginger cake. Ginger cake and custard. Yes. So I could have got the Coke. You see, didn't have any sort of forward thinking, did I? Never mind.
Fastest lap.
Okay, fastest lap of the race to Lewis Hamilton. No, to Norris there rather. Apologies. And we have created a 3-second gap. Exactly what we wanted to do. Science's tyres. More worn than ours. He's got Verstappen over the back of him now, which was a necessary little thing to do. So we had to create that gap. I mean, with the tyre wear situation, we can probably even push the tyres a little bit if we want to really give ourselves
And we'll push.
that little extra bit of an edge. .2 seconds is the gap now. I mean, I'd be much more comfortable with a 5-second gap, I'll be honest with you. That'll be the perfect gap. Could still be a possibility.
So just cool tyres down.
3.8, and look at that! It looks like Science is in trouble from being overtaken from Verstappen there, but he's just managed to close the door there. Those soft tyres definitely struggling now in comparison to the mediums. 4 seconds is the gap pretty much now. Another second and we'll be definitely happy bunnies. Verstappen is itching to get past here. He's, of course, our nearest championship contender right now, so he's looking to pick up as many points as he possibly can. Whereas we are out there enjoying life. Flipping up, we've got back markers to look forward to. Hang on a second. Right, we're going to go to standard and balanced now. Oh, look at that train of cars. that gap that we've just
Just
created.
be careful with this tyre.
I mean, of course, they have to get through the same set of cars as well, so should even itself out, depending on where you pass them and how much they hold you up. But we know how this game sucks when it comes to overtaking cars that are much, much slower than you for one reason or another. Right, 5 seconds is now the gap. So our little strategy to back up, conserve, and then go back to jam. Another piece of Potter genius, I would suggest. But both our drivers, Hamilton and Norris, have been pretty much nip and tuck, neck and neck. Norris has never been less than a second behind Hamilton. So, technically speaking, between the two of them, the race is well and truly on. No team orders here. Of course, Hamilton will get the preference of having the first stop, because he is the lead car. But other than that, it's fair game. I think Hamilton may be getting a bit more lucky with where he's catching the cars here. Catching these two on the straight, for example, so they should just melt out of his way. And then the next car up the next straight, so again, should just get out of the way. Yep, quite happily. Whereas poor Norris seems to be coming out much worse out of this exchange, because he's gone from being less than a second behind Hamilton to now being 2 seconds behind. So clearly, the back marker's not helping out Lando Norris now, and he's out of the DRS of Lewis Hamilton, which gives Lewis a bit of breathing room. So, after overtaking the back markers, Hamilton has now got himself a 2.4 second gap. Now, Sainz, of course, is going to have to come through the same set of back markers, so although the gap has come down to 2.7, we expect that to go up again. But he's getting past those back markers quite effectively, actually, which is rather annoying. So he's only got one more to get past, and then he's going to be pretty much to Norris, and he's going to catch that car on the straight, so that car will get completely out of the way for him. So it looks like Norris has really suffered somewhat from these back markers. What a strange line that he's taken, probably because he's defending against Verstappen here. He's all over the shop. Okay, so that you notice the slowdown there. Look at that. He had to slow down. He had to actually literally lift off to pass the car, which is exactly what we needed to happen. So now Hamilton has got sort of a 7 second gap almost to Sainz. Norris has regained his sort of 4 second gap. So all in all, I think we can be very happy with how things are going so far in this race, but we're not even halfway round it yet, so we're not going to get overly excited. The pit strategy window is soon to be open. It opens lap 30. We're going to pit with Lewis on lap 30. I'd say we'll pit with Lewis on lap 33, and with Lando on lap 34. I think that's probably the order of business here. Although Lando's got worse tyre wear, so I think we'll pit Lewis on lap 32. Lando on lap 31. Sainz is pitting now, so I mean, if he comes out in traffic, that will make the undercut even less useful. Let's see where he comes out. He's coming out in clear air. He's coming out in clear air. He does have cars ahead of him, but they're quite a way away. So he has come out in clear air, unless Bottas gets past. Oh, Bottas, you silly fool. So that's worked out pretty well for Sainz now, because he's in clear air. So he can start to put some pace down. So we've got to protect against the undercut a little bit. We can't afford to earth is happening here? Bloody phone ringing. My mother downstairs ringing on my phone. I'm in the middle of a race here. Right, so what I was saying is we've got to cover off this undercut to some degree. So I'd rather pit sooner rather than later here.
And let's push. Understood.
Maximum pace.
Confirm.
Okay, sorry about that. Right, where were we? So with Hamilton, I think we're bringing him in basically this lap, right? So what I'm going to do, I don't think Norris is going to undercut Hamilton, but Norris is at most risk of being undercut by Sainz. So we're going to bring Norris in first. Actually.
And box now, box now.
We could bring them both in at the same time, because there's a 3-second gap, to be honest with you, if we wanted to. But Hamilton's got a bit more comfort, so we'll give Hamilton one more lap. We'll bring him in lap 32, which is where we anticipated him coming in, as per the strategy. So that's what we'll do. So Hamilton's going to go out for one more lap. He's fine. I'm just a bit more concerned about Norris, to be honest with you. A, because of the tyre wear situation, but B, because he was closer to Sainz.
Copy. Temps are climbing. Temps are now climbing.
Yep.
So Norris coming in to put on his hard tyres, his one and only stop of the race. We shall ride on board with him.
Land to left.
Message understood. And just remind you to use the pit limiter in the pit lane.
Looks like Leclerc's pitting. Okay, out you go, set of hard tyres. Hamilton speeding like a maniac.
Just going to need some lift and coast.
Hard tyres going on for Hamilton. Let's go look at Norris. Where's he come out? Where's Sainz?
Leclerc in the pit lane now.
Look at where Sainz is. Look where Sainz is. Not a country mile away from him. The undercut could have worked if we didn't play it out right. If we didn't do the strategy of backing up and shooting off and then bringing Lando in a little bit earlier before Hamilton, he could have been at risk of an undercut there. So I think we've played this pretty well. Of course, we're stuck behind cars now that are on. Basically, we need to go light here and maybe even conserve whilst we're stuck behind cars that are slower than us, that have yet to pit. And then once we're released from them, then we can shoot off with the excess fuel and the tyres. But Hamilton is now coming into the pits for his set of hard tyres. Let's have a look at this one. Hard tyres going on. Out he goes. Norris is just at the swimming pool section, coming round to the La Rascasse corner. Verstappen's in the pits, he's going out. Of course, we need to make sure that Norris gets out ahead of Max here. It's looking a bit tight, is this? That's looking a bit tight, is this? That's looking a bit tight to Verstappen. Oh, we're past. Okay, we're past. It was looking a bit, I don't know, maybe just the way the pit lane is here, but it looked a bit tighter than I would have anticipated. But Norris has, let's go standard and balanced here, because Norris has now...
If you can, push.
Look how close Sainz is to Norris now. Bloody hellfire. That was not what we wanted to see. But tyre wear situation, pretty even. Pace of cars, We are the quicker car. On the track we qualified quicker at least. Hamilton, much more secure, much more safe, much more content, out in the lead. At 33, he's got a gap to Lando of about 7 seconds. So he's absolutely bossing it now. No, not a care in the world, not a worry. Just got to bring it round in one piece. Hope that the car... Well, there are no car failures in this game. Have you seen an engine blow up in this game? I haven't. Hydraulics failure, brake failure, tyre wear, tyre failure, punctures, nothing.
Perez in the pit lane.
That's another thing with this game that could do with an update in the second version. But anyway, it is what it is. Still a fun game, but there's just little things. This is their first version of it, and they're going to do 3, I think, was the deal. So, I'm sure by the 3rd rendition we'll have an absolutely fantastic, all bells, whistles, singing and dancing experience. But we are kind of pulling away-ish from Sainz with Norris. Norris doesn't have to do anything fancy because you can't pass, so Sainz won't be passing. So I think we're safe. The pit stops have all happened. Verstappen, Leclerc's come out quite worse off from that exchange. He's well behind Verstappen now. So it's Hamilton, Norris, Sainz, Verstappen, and then Leclerc. Gasly and Bottas yet to pit, so they don't really count. So it's the order hasn't really changed. The gaps and the distance to the various cars has, but the actual race order is as it was, and it should be this way for the rest of the race because you can't pass. So yeah. So after I finish this race, I'm not going to have a rum. I'm going to save that until 7 o'clock this evening and crack it open with my friend. Nice couple of blobs of ice, maybe even a dash of lime. As in a squeeze of lime, fresh lime, wedge, half a measure of Coke, not to drown the rum, and then just take the biggest glug. I can taste it already. But after this race, none of that malarkey. No, I'm gonna have a cup of tea, a slice of cake. Yeah. Because it's my birthday week, as of today, well, as of yesterday actually, because I had fish and chips for lunch, which clearly is not healthy, I decided that I was going to cut the diet and the healthy eating and the exercise for a week. And then when I come back off from Amsterdam, back on it until my cruise in June. So it'll give me a period of 5 weeks to be back on it again, and then I'll be body beautiful for cruise. Although I have noticed that my appetite recently, over the past 3-4 months, hasn't been what it was in the past. Maybe it's as you get older. I think it is as you get older, your appetite does wane, because even when I've had periods of I'll just eat what I want, and I've eaten what I want, and I've not put much weight on because I don't eat loads and loads of stuff. I say that now, but give me 3 weeks of eating what I want and I'm sure your stomach will expand and you get a taste for things like sugary foods, and suddenly, actually, I put half a stone on. Who was I trying to kid? But yeah. But yesterday, fish and chips for lunch, for a treat. Was rather nice. Because what happened was, obviously, my mum went to hospital. Well, obviously, I'm sure I told you, but maybe I haven't. But my mum went for an endoscopy yesterday, which is a very unpleasant experience, it must be said. But she had it under sedation, so she got sedated, and apparently she couldn't even remember the procedure. She was that sedated and knocked out with it. She wasn't like unconscious, like anaesthesia. What the hell is Carlos Sainz doing? He's getting far too close for my liking. It wasn't that bad, but she said she couldn't remember the procedure. I said, well, it can't have been that bad then, can it, if you can't remember it? But she was a bit groggy afterwards, and so I had to go and drop her off and then leave her there for 2 hours and then come and pick her up. So when I picked her up, I was like, "Do you want a fish and chips for lunch? A bit of a treat." She went, "Oh yeah." So that's what I did. Fish and chip lunch. Very delicious. I had fish, chips, battered sausage, mushy peas with mint sauce on. Delightful. Whilst working from home. So I'm there doing my work whilst filling my face with fried delights. Quite a nice afternoon actually. And I went to play football and play crap. So my resolution from my 40th birthday resolution is going forwards as the age is beginning to advance. Playing football, just turning up to play football and kick a ball about and expect to be fantastically good. Those days are beginning to seem like a distant past now, and if I want to play well at football, I'll have to make sure that I warm up properly, limber up properly, and probably even eat properly before the game. You know, some high carbs, kind of pasta-y type things, things that are not going to be too stodgy to make you a bit bloated or weigh you down. So little bowls of tuna pastas and maybe some porridges. Eggs I found in the past works really well before football. So some omelettes with like sort of some cheese and ham in and things like that. Just food to give you a bit of energy boost before a game. Bit more preparation before the game, dietary wise, exercise wise, warming up wise, than I have ever done before, simply because it is getting harder, I've noticed, over the past sort of 6 to 8 months when I'm playing football to actually consistently perform at the levels that I used to do. I have games where I do come off the pitch and think to myself, I played really well there. I had a really good game. Whereas before, in times gone by, that was the regularity, and that was the norm, and the anomaly used to be when I used to play bad. That was the anomaly. Whereas now, maybe it's just me, but it feels like playing well seems to be the anomaly. I'm telling you, got beat 6-2 yesterday. Really, I was mortified. I played absolutely horrendous. It's very rare that I ever give a goal away due to a stupid error. I play very straightforward, simple football, very rarely make a mistake in terms of giving the ball away or anything like that. But they were 1-0 up already, and we were already in a bad position because they're a team that you shouldn't really go behind to, because they keep the ball really well and will punish you if they're winning. So we went behind 1-0. It's like, we're in for a long night then, aren't we? It's going to be a long 28 minutes, this. And it was. But the second goal, I had the ball, and I was the last man, and I had the ball at my feet, about to go forward with it, and lost control of it. Just randomly, or tripped over my own feet, and the guy that was next to me took the ball off me and scored, and I was like, oh my God, that's very, very rarely happened to me. What an idiot. So that was a bit of an embarrassing moment. But so we lost 6-2. But also I also put this down to, because although I'm still doing my exercising, and exercising is great for keeping in shape and weight down and stuff like that, but when it comes to playing football, exercising isn't that great, because in football you need to be playing football. Your first touch, passing, shooting are all things that if you don't do it for a little while, you fall out of practice with it. So because of Ramadan, we stopped playing on a Tuesday, and we haven't started that up again yet. I've stopped playing football on a Wednesday because I do other things like stream, and I go and play tabletop games on a Wednesday now. So I've stopped playing football on a Wednesday. The past couple of Thursdays have been cancelled. Sundays have been cancelled because of bank holidays. So I've just, over the past kind of month, I've probably played football once a week for a month. And when you're used to playing football 3 times a week, I think that's also made a difference, because it's the silly things like that, losing control of the ball and tripping over your own feet, that you probably wouldn't do if you were playing football 3 times a week, because you'd be in football, you'd be kind of in tune with football, you'd be match fit, if you will, match sharp. Whereas I'm not, because I'm playing football once a week for 28 minutes, which is not that much football. So hopefully when we start playing football on a Tuesday and Thursday and Sunday with regularity again, I'm hoping that that's probably got a little bit to do with it as well, to be honest. It's just kind of that lack of match sharpness. But anyway. And then I almost got into a fight last week. It's all coming out now. Have I taken a truth serum? No, so yeah, I almost got into a fight last week. Bloody hell. We won 3-2. No, yeah, 3-2 or 4-3. Scraped through. We are top of the league still, by the way, but because the team that we lost yesterday was second and they've got 2 games in hand, I think they can go a point ahead of us if they win both their games in hand. So it was a big loss yesterday. It really was a big loss, because if we'd have won that game, we'd have been like miles clear. And it would have been pretty much title over. So by the fact that we lost that game yesterday, we've just opened up the title race for the last 5 games. There's 5 games to go. Last 5 games of the season now. Every game is crucial. But anyway, so at the moment we're still on top because we've got games in hand. Because we've played more games basically. But anyway, so yeah. But yeah, I was going to a fight last week because I fouled the guy. Kicked him not on purpose. I'm not that kind of person. But I went for the tackle and mistimed it and kicked his back of his foot. And he just stopped dead. Ball was bubbling away. He stopped dead and turned around. Oh, what are you doing, man? And the referee didn't even blow for a foul because the referee didn't see it. So I said to him, I just put my hand up to him and went, yeah, I know it was a foul, and I touched him. Not intentionally, but kind of touched him a little bit. I said, yeah, I know it's a foul, but the referee didn't blow for it. Let's just carry on. You know, there, kind of thing. Bearing in mind that he did the same thing to me earlier in the game, and I didn't say a thing. Not even a peep out of me. He kicked me back of the leg. I was going for the ball. It was going back to the keeper. Kicked me in the back of the leg. Didn't say a thing. Just carry on. You know, I didn't think he did it on purpose. And if he did, well, you know, whatever. I'm not that kind of person. Yeah, so as I touched him and said, oh, it's fine, you know, whatever, you know, I agree it was a foul, and so that's what I said to him, I agree it was a foul, and I'm not disagreeing that, but I didn't do it on purpose, kind of thing. And he went, don't you push me, and then started to walk towards me, and then he, so I thought, bloody hell, red rag to a bull, that. Oh, so I pushed him back, he pushed me, and the referee blew for full time. could see what was happening. People were dragging him away and dragging me away, and the referee went, full time. And then, you know, I was like, went up to him again to kind of explain the situation, and he turned away. Don't you speak to me, and then threw his bib at me. Oh, for God's sake! So I got the bib off the floor and just flung at him. Oh, what a drama! I tell you. It's very rare that I lose my temper. And in fact, that's the funny thing. Although there was this whole little hoo-ha going on, at no point was I like angry.
His fastest lap.
Oh, fastest lap of the race. Carry on. So 14.1. That's pretty decent. So Norris has managed to pull a gap to Sainz, which we anticipated. We are the slightly quicker car. Verstappen is he catching Sainz? Doesn't matter. He won't pass him. But look at that, 34 seconds behind Verstappen. What is Leclerc doing? Has he got damage on his car? Can't tell. That is some serious slowness going on here. Some very serious slowness. Has he got like a... No. Everything seems to be fine. Not a clue. Not a clue. So Hamilton's doing 114.3s. Norris 115.1s. Unless he lapped a car. Which I don't think he did. That's a significant chunk of time slower than that Hamilton side. We'll see what happens as we cross the line this time. Although, actually, no, it won't, because he's lapping cars. I think that's probably the problem. That's probably the issue there. Lapping cars. And that's probably what's helped us gap Sainz, to be honest with you, is we've probably lapped cars more effectively than he has. But anyway. We're on lap 55 of 78, which means there's 23 laps of the street circuit to go, and Hamilton continues to pull away from his teammate. 11 seconds is the gap. Fuel is fine. Tyre wear is fine. ERS is fine. We're in cruise control, baby. Could this be a back-to-back 1-2 for the team? Really, this would stamp our authority on the Constructors' title? Stamp Hamilton's authority on the Drivers' title? Indeed it could. Indeed it could. Right. So this race will be finished before 5:30. I have got my friend said 7 o'clock, but she might be finishing sooner, so I can't really realistically stream another race here. I'm just debating, could I fit another race in here? Because I've got to go through the practice and the qualifying, which will take at least 20 minutes. So probably not. And yeah, with the best will in the world, it's not going to happen. Sorry guys, sorry about that. Just the one processional race you get. So this really is all about me just nattering on about random stuff, you know, rums and football and diets and birthday celebrations but yeah, not that you're going to probably make a comment on this video. I might put it in the Discord server actually, but I am going to Amsterdam next Friday. Don't know if I've told you. Okay, yeah. But recommendations for places to visit, please. I've been to Amsterdam twice before, but things have probably changed in Amsterdam. I was last there 2018, I think it was. So it's like 5 years ago. So I'm sure Amsterdam has changed in 5 years. We've had the old, you know, the old pandemic since then. So certain places may have closed down, new places may have opened. But basically, the places that I'm wanting, really, places to go on a night time. Yeah, I'm going for my birthday. Whoever I've mentioned it to, I have made no bones about the fact that it is not going to be a cultured visit. Anne Frank's museum or Anne Frank's house. Save that for another time, perhaps. This is effectively going to be a weekend of partying. So, places to party, places to explore that are the places that you would go to explore for a party, for a good time, you know, a show of the adult variety, perhaps, you know, sit in a theatre and watch something on stage that's not for the eyes of children, you know what I'm saying. So yeah, any recommendations for anything like that? Clubs, where are the clubs at? Is there a particular area that I need to be frequenting where all the, you know, good clubs are, that play some decent tunes, that's got some good vibes? Is that the words you use nowadays, you young people? Where I'm going to have a good time, just that kind of stuff, really. Yeah. So any recommendations? I might actually still do a boat tour, to be honest with you. I might do a boat tour down the canals and all that kind of jazz. Because, you know, cruising, water, you can get on a party boat, I'm sure, right? A boat that does alcohol. So you're cruising down the canals of Amsterdam whilst getting hammered. Sounds like a recipe for disaster, I think. Don't mix alcohol and water. It's not a good idea. But anyway, yes, it's in all seriousness, if you've got any recommendations for places to visit, things to do, please do let me know, and I shall research them and consider, even if it is cultured, because I mean we're there for 3 full days, Friday, Saturday and Sunday, a very early flight in, a very late flight out, so essentially we've got 3 full days, and that's a lot of drinking and partying for someone of my age. Alright, I'm not 21, I'll probably be partied out come Saturday. Like, oh, I'm knackered. We landed on Friday at 7. We dropped the cases off at the bag stop. We went straight to a coffee shop and did our thing in there for 4 hours, and then we had a McDonald's because we got the munchies, and then we decided to go for a bit of a wander, and then we went into a pub for a few drinks, and then we went for an afternoon nap to the hotel for a couple of hours, well, for 3 hours, at least 3 hours nap. Got our glad rags on, went out to the red light district, we found a couple of places, had a dance, had a show, and then we went to a club, out till 5 in the morning, got back to the hotel, went to bed, got up at the crack of dawn for breakfast. and I'm knackered. So Saturday we're going to sit in a boat, go down there, and we're going to visit a museum, and we're going to just chill the hell out. No. No. Lots of Red Bull. Keep us going. Caffeine and Red Bull will get me through. I shall have to remember to take photographs while I'm there of me having fun and put it on the Discord. So I'm crap. I am crap. As you will probably know by now, it's very rare you get any pictures from me. I'm crap at taking pictures. I hate taking pictures on holiday because I like to enjoy my holiday, and I feel like taking photographs is a chore, so I don't do it, generally speaking. But my friend who I'm going with, she is an absolute photo maniac. She takes photographs of absolutely everything. And so if she's going with me, she's not taking her phone. So she'll be using my phone to take photographs. So if she gets some decent ones, I'll put some of them on this Discord server. If there's any of me in uncompromising positions, I won't be putting those on, just to warn you. Or just to assure you, I should say, not to warn you, just to give you assurance that you won't be seeing anything that you shouldn't do. Oh dear. Okay, so we've got 12 laps to go. This is a long race. Look how close Verstappen is to Sainz. We should be watching this battle. Will Verstappen get past Sainz? This is like Nigel Mansell versus Ayrton Senna, 1992. Verstappen is clearly the much faster car, and he's going high, he's going low, he's trying this, he's trying that, but whatever he tries, he cannot get bloody past. One thing that I find that's really cool about this game and other games of this kind of generation of computer game time that we are in is back in the day when you had crowds in stands, whether it be a football game, whether it be a Formula 1 game, whatever kind of sport game where there's crowds of people watching. The crowd will just be colours initially, and we're going way, way back. And then the people in the crowds, even though the main people in the game, the football players on the pitch, the cars, etc., were very good quality, the crowds were stickmen, and still quite crap. Whereas in this, if you notice the crowd are 3D modelled people and look like a crowd of people. They are literally a crowd of modelled people, which is really cool. Okay, so Verstappen is still trying in earnest. You've got people there waving out, they're not even crowd, they're people in the apartments in Monaco. Of course, it's a street circuit, you get loads of apartments and people looking on and watching the race from the balconies, and you've got people there waving from the balconies. It's quite really, it's actually got some quite good detail. I'll never forget, and the sad thing was, it wasn't even me driving. We went to Monaco. The last time we went to Monaco, we went on a road trip, me and 5 others, 5 lads, 5 mates, and we drove to Monaco in a VW Charan. So we drove for like 20 hours to get there. Drove obviously down through England to Dover, got the ferry to France, drove through France, down, and then went into Monaco. 20 hours it took us. But it was a fantastic experience. Never do it again, but to have done it once and had a proper road trip with the lads was really, really good. We had an apartment in Cap d'Aille, which is a little village or town maybe, that was about a 20-minute taxi ride, 15-minute taxi ride from Monaco itself. So it was outside of Monaco, but it was close enough to be able to get into it quite easily. It was reasonably priced because we split the bill 6 ways. This apartment, fully furnished, 2 bedrooms, and of course 2 sofas, balcony, great view, lovely place. But anyway, so we did say that at some point during this holiday we're going to have to drive around the track, because the previous 2 times I went to Monaco was on a cruise, so we didn't have a car. We had to just do the tours, do a trip. You know, I walked up and down the pit lane. We went on the little choo-choo train that did a part of the circuit and took you up to the church where Grace Kelly's buried and the Prince Rainier, whatever, Albert Rainier, whichever one she was married to. So we did all that. So when we were there in the car, it was like, right, we're in a car now. We have to drive. Can we actually physically drive the full circuit of the race? Because obviously by day it's just roads, isn't it? Accessible to all cars. So we did. Although my mate did, because he was driving at the time. When I said, look, should we drive the track? So we did. We drove the track. But the funny thing is, did we drive the track this way or did we drive the track backwards? No, we drove the track this way. So we drove the full track, and I think you can drive the full track, if I'm remembering correctly. You can drive the full track. So we drove the full track pretty much. There might be slight differences where these chicanes are, for example. If I pause it, I'll pause it in a second. So that was fun. It was cool to do that. And then the next day, we were there for 5 days. So one of the days we went to the casino, and I think I've told you before. I went there purely to play poker. We got dressed up in tuxedos. They didn't do poker in the casino. I'm in the Grand Casino of Monaco. I've got my tuxedo on. I've come to play poker, and you're telling me you don't do it? I was horrified. So we walked out anyway. So at that point, we then decided, I said, oh, do you know what? We're here now. Why don't we walk the track now? We've driven it. So we walked from the casino down the side, Lowe's hairpin, through the tunnel, and we walked not the full track, but we walked half the track. Literally from here, we walked down here, down this path. We went down here, we walked down round here. There's a kind of a hotel behind us there. We walked round, we walked through the tunnel, walked down here, and then we walked, round and then up to basically walked to the Raskas bar. But also on the final night, it was there. There's a restaurant here. So that's the Raskas bar was here, where we went every night because it was the cheapest bar that we found, and they did happy hour. It was from like 5 till 8, so that was quite cool. So that was our main haunt, really. And on the last night, there was, I think, around about here on this parade here, there was a restaurant that served some pretty decent food, and it was a little bit pricey, but it was quite fancy. And we said, well, it's our last night, let's have a nice fancy meal. So we had a meal in the restaurant here, which was really nice. Anyway, there you go, just thought I'd share that with you. It's about as much fun as we've had all episode, I suppose. Okay, so Verstappen has fallen away from Sainz now because of the fact that there were some back markers in the way. Leclerc miles behind. I think even Daniel Ricciardo has been lapped. Yeah. So Hamilton is coming round for the last few laps here. Coming for the last few laps. I wonder if you can see the hotel if you drive on board with Norris. Yeah, there, that's the hotel, ordinarily. And there's some fancy cars parked outside that hotel. And every time we drove past that or walked past it, there were Ferraris there, there were Bentleys there. And that's one thing I would say about Monaco that you notice, massively, massively notice. And it's the fact that the sheer number of fancy cars that are just driving around like in the UK or wherever you're based, you probably get the odd fancy car once a flood. Oh look, there's a Ferrari. Oh, there's a Lamborghini. Oh, look at that. And it stands out like a sore thumb because it's like you don't see them but once every 3-4 months. Whereas in Monaco, they're driving around like your Fords and your Vauxhalls, they're commonplace, parked up all over, outside the Grand Casino or whatever the casino's called. There's always fancy cars out there. That hotel here, this hotel here, Bentleys, Bugattis were parked there. You could be walking down the pit straight, walking to wherever you're going, and a Ferrari and a Lamborghini just drive by. Loads of them. Really is the place for the rich and famous, I tell you. And there's us, 5 lads, driven in our Volkswagen Charan, finding a bar that does happy hour. Yeah. Hey, but we had a good time though, I tell you. Got drinks bought for us. We met with a couple of ladies that got really pally with, a couple of deckhands, because, you know, you've seen all the yachts there. Loads of them. And loads of the people that were in the bar, or in the bars, plural, that we were going to, were actually workers on the yachts. Oh, what do you do? Oh, I'm a deckhand, I work on this yacht here. You know, he's moored up for the weekend or whatever, he's moored up for the week, and we just, by day we tend to the boat, and by night we're free to do what we want. This is like a completely different lifestyle, isn't it? Yeah. It was a fantastic time, and I'd probably do it again, to be fair. But yeah, it was just like it was quite surreal at points, that holiday. We got taken to a place called the Buddha Bar, and it was called that because there was a big Buddha in the bar. And all I remember thinking was that because the deckhands that we met in the Raskas bar said, "Oh, do you want to go to the Buddha Bar?" I'm like, "What's the Buddha Bar?" "Oh, it's the bar to be in." So we went to the Buddha Bar, they took us to the Buddha Bar, we walked to it, and as Hamilton's about to cross the line, take a race victory here. All I can remember thinking is the place was literally full. As Hamilton crosses the line, takes race victory, he's led from flag fall to checkered flag. A fantastically controlled race victory. Never looked in doubt, really, as Norris in the second McLaren crosses the checkered flag in P2. 13.8 seconds behind Hamilton, and then a further 15 seconds behind Norris was Carlos Sainz, who's coming over the line. Looks like very slowly, but I think because we've watched the race in 2-speed for most of this, we've kind of become adjusted to 2-speed, and now looking at the 1-speed seems very slow. But yeah, so we went to this Buddha Bar, and all I can remember thinking in this bar, and we stayed in this bar literally for about 10 minutes before we left, was the sheer amount of clearly rich, not because of how they looked, but they had to be rich because they were old men. And I'm talking like 60s, 50s, grey hair, rotund, draped with young women. I mean, some of them had 2, 1 in each arm. And they were like bees round a honeypot to these rich men, and clearly they've got money. So it was just weird, absolutely weird, just to see all these older, as I'm assuming, rich men just draped in young women. And it was just like, I'm not feeling this place very much.
This podium is a brilliant reward for everyone's hard work.
So there's my Monaco escapades for you guys. I hope that entertained you whilst watch cars just driving around doing nothing. But that, as I said, this is F1, unadulterated, unedited races. We've had races of high drama, and we've had races like this. This is why there's calls for this race to be cut from the calendar. But it's like, we can't cut Monaco. It's one of the oldest tracks on the calendar. But for racing, it's just not up to standard anymore. When the cars were a bit smaller and nimbler, maybe there's slight cause for it, but now that the cars are heavier, wider, bigger, you can't pass it. It's impossible. It's just not fit for purpose, really. But anyway. So, the fastest lap of the race eventually went to Valtteri Bottas with a 1:13.6, probably strapped on a set of fresh tyres near to the end of the race, and got fastest lap, which is not a problem because we've taken the 1-2, so that's fine. We've seen the race order because it hasn't changed for the entire race, so I don't have to cover that. But let's have a look at the driver's standings. So Lewis Hamilton is now 46 points ahead of Lando Norris in second place. Norris is in second, and he is 8 points ahead of Max Verstappen. Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari is a further 6 points back. So this is looking like a comfortable run so far for Lewis Hamilton, and he's got his eyes, firmly fixed on that 8th world title with the very team that he won his first. What a story that would be, wouldn't it? Let's see it happen. Let's see it happen, folks. Unless Lando has got anything to say about it. Constructors' title looking very healthy. We are 98 points. No, is that right? 98 to 90? 98? I don't know. I'm not 92. I don't know. I can't do maths. I'm tired now. I think it's 92 points ahead of Red Bull. Ferrari are gaining on Red Bull. Ferrari are the fastest car on the track as a whole package, technically speaking, so they should be ahead of Red Bull. So they've got a very close battle on their hand for P2. Not very close at the top at the moment. McLaren are the guys to beat, and the girls too. There's one right there, you can see. Okay, so excellent, looking good. Good, positive on the money front there. So next race is in 11 days, and it's the race that we have just had in real life. It is Baku, Azerbaijan. So this is a circuit which is actually a lot more easy to overtake on. I actually quite like this track, you know. I do quite like Azerbaijan. It's got a very long straight. So the opportunities to overtake are plenty, but it is a fast circuit. So our lack of straight line speed could be an issue. Not a major issue, because I still expect us to be very quick, but could still be a slight issue. We'll see what happens. Let's have a look. Lewis Hamilton has got a bonus development point to use, and that's what we're going to use it on. Let's go on smoothness. Let's put it on smoothness there. Lando, no points. Never mind. Right, excellent. Sponsorship obligations. We got 11 days. I don't think we've got any car parts being developed in 11 days. Oh yes, we do. We have a new suspension. Okay. Well, seeing as I don't know how long we've been going for, but it can't be that long because the race was on 2-speed for most of the parts, so we can afford to take some time out here to sort this out. So we've got a new suspension. So what we're going to do is we're going to plop that on the car eventually when we go to new manufacturing project, new suspension 2. We're going to go to we need 4 of them. We need to rush it then, because we need 3 within 10 days. Going to have to be emergency then. So 3 emergency and then 1 normal. Or how about, the cheapest way to do it is probably to do 2 rushed and then 2 emergency. Oh no, 2 rushed now. Okay, this is going to be awkward, but this is the cheapest way to do it, I think. So to do 2 rushed now, and then do 1 emergency to make it to 3, and then get the 4th one normal. So a combination of all. A bit complex, but we're saving pennies here, okay? We're skinflints now. We're from Yorkshire now. So we'll get that done. But that means we've got a couple of design slots spare. Or we've got at least 1 design slot spare. Let's have a look at this for a second. Yeah, right. So that was suspension, right? Yeah. So basically, we're going to design another suspension to basically continue on the good work of the last suspension. We don't have any testing time available, unfortunately, but it's not a problem. So I can't remember the focus that we used last time, but my focus is on top speed. So anything that increases top speed right now is good. So full top speed increase. As long as none of these have gone down, we're happy with that. So all of these are going up. It also increases brake cooling, which is pretty decent. We're going to plop down the cornering, because we're quite happy with our cornering. So that's going to help a little bit. And again, as long as these numbers aren't lower, we're happy. Don't want these to be going down. And then airflow front. Going down. Let's have a look at this. Well, where's that going? It increases brake cooling and top speed. So I think if we put that there, we get an increase in brake cooling, a slight increase in top speed there and there. So we're increasing top speed a little bit now there, so this could be good for us. These are fine. These are all, so everything's going up, but we've focused on top speed and brake cooling here. And we're going to get an expertise boost to this part because we used intense last time. So we're going to get a boost on top of these, I think. Is that how it works? So we're going to do intense again. So 2 lots of intense and then a rushed to finish it. So this is the second intense. The next part that we make for the suspension will be rushed. For the suspension, the side pods and the chassis, the design path will be intense, rushed. Whereas for the main parts, the wings and the underfloor, and because we started those pre-season, we went intense, rushed. So 3 intenses and then a rush at the end. Whereas with these parts now, it's just 2 intenses and a rushed. If that makes sense. So let's get that sorted. So that's good. Let's have a look-see here. Let's have a look-see here. Important email. Suspension complete. Manufacturing of the suspension complete. So now what we do is we go to we go to car parts development. New manufacture project. New suspension. We do now an emergency. Yeah. And then we go to the final bit, suspension, and do it normal. Did that work out cheaper? Or should we have just done them all emergency? I think doing them all emergency would have cost us about 2 million. So I think this was the cheapest option. Right, so let's see. Projects. 3 design projects on the go. Manufacturing projects on the go. The final thing for us to do is to go to the warehouse and put the suspension on both cars. Excellent. So we've now got our enhanced suspension on both cars. Let's see if that's done anything for our performance. Let's go to car analysis. Show rank on grid. Right, so we're still the best in cornering. Still pretty crappy in top speed and acceleration. Our DRS acceleration is actually now pretty good, but our DRS top speed isn't, and the brake cooling and the engine cooling is still pretty crap. So we're still working on it. It's a work in progress, and you can't expect for these to jump up massively, given that we didn't focus on them at all last season. So we've got quite a bit to do to push these up, but hopefully by the end of the season we'll still have the best cornering, and we'll have just improved our top speed and acceleration a little bit more to give us that extra bit of edge on the opposition. But yeah, as I said before, if you change the team to Ferrari, you can just see overall they've got more consistency across the board. Second best car when it comes to cornering, they're best when it comes to cooling, and second best when it comes to top speed. The Red Bulls are the best when it comes to top speed and acceleration. So yeah, interesting. And the race simulator needs a refurb, which is fine. Let's get that refurbished. Can't have shoddy flipping buildings around here. Right, so cars are prepared and done. We have got the new suspension on the car, designing the second rendition of that. And we have the Azerbaijan Grand Prix to look forward to in the next session. So there you go, folks. Hope you've enjoyed this kind of an impromptu stream, really, because I didn't plan to do anything today. Private stream, of course. So yes, enjoy the weekend. Hopefully I'll get something up for you guys Sunday as well for CK2, because CK2 has been a little bit of a break from that, so we'll get back into the swing with that soon enough. But yeah, have a good one, enjoy, and as always, until next time, I'll see you soon.